there has been an argument that sanctuary cities do not allow ICE to come into jails. Why is that a consideration? Don't you have to spend your time in jail? And if you were convicted of a crime, you in jail, then after you finish your sentence, then you are deported. So I don't understand why they're concerned that they're not able to go into jails. Can you understand? I mean, can you tell us why is that
Yeah.
important to them?
Well, what they're trying to do, Valerie, is that this administration is trying to show that we are deporting as many dangerous criminals, and they're trying to cast immigrants as scapegoats and saying that, there's so many dangerous criminals, and many of them happen to be immigrants, which is not the real narrative and not the
I
truth.
understand that.
That's what they're trying to do. So that's why they're trying to, kind of like make their numbers seem large that
But
we
these so-called dangerous criminals are already in jail. So I'm very much confused.
what they want to do is that they want to bolster their numbers for deportation
Oh, I
so they
see.
could say we deported 50,000 dangerous criminals. But what happens is that people get arrested for sometimes shoplifting, sometimes small offenses, and they're going to try to cast those as dangerous criminals. I had one client they were trying to deport, and it was just an argument with his neighbor, and the neighbor called the police on him. And he had DACA. DACA, he was an undocumented, he had DACA, he was a dreamer. He's married to an American citizen, and the cops arrested him. And then, ICE tried to kind of detain him after he had his court date. So sometimes, you get released, and, these officers are waiting around the courthouses to try to arrest people. Or sometimes what happens is that there's something called an ICE detainer where they may say, New York City really doesn't do this much, but in other places in New York, let's say Suffolk County, ICE may pick up the phone and call the local sheriff in Suffolk County and be like, oh, this guy got arrested. You know what? I think he doesn't have immigration status. Hold him in jail. Don't release him until we get there. Because even if it was a small offense, we're going to arrest him now. So that is happening across the United States. And there's a political element because Trump is trying to cut funding for places that don't cooperate with ICE. So, that's a political element. He's trying to cut funding, and even threatened to cut funding for New York City if they were not going to cooperate with ICE and so forth. Okay.